Hello, good morning. This is Chuku Emeka. In today's video, I want to show a possible migratory route that the Hebrews took from the Promised Land here in what we now call the State of Israel, all the way to Igbo land here in southeastern Nigeria. Okay, to do that, let's go to one of the most popular sections of scripture. This is the book of 2nd Esdras. The book is actually in the Apocrypha. It was excluded from the Bible for some reasons. In the book of 2nd Esdras, in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, it's a very popular chapter of the Apocrypha. Esdras was communicating with the angel of the Lord, with actually the Most High, and the Most High was telling him things that were going to happen in future dates. Remember, Esdras lived when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians. So let's go down to verse 40 of 2nd Esdras chapter 13. Let's start from verse 39. For those who've not read this chapter, in this chapter, please go and read it. You can get it online, as you can see here. But in the chapter, Ezra saw a vision of the Battle of Armageddon, in which Christ defeated the powers of the nation and then gathered his people to him. And after he saw that vision, the Most High was explaining to Esdras what he just saw. So let's start from verse 39 of 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 39. It says, "And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came there into another land. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Asareth." In this section now, the Most High explained what happened to the 10 tribe. If you remember, the 10 tribe lived in what we call the kingdom of Israel, which we don't use the word Israel. And then they were attacked by the Assyrians and taken captive. And then later the Assyrians were attacked by the Babylonians and taken captive. So if we go here now, what we are describing actually took place around here. This is where they call the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom were living somewhere around here, where we call Lebanon today, or Northern Israel today. They lived around here. It's a small, the Hebrews used to occupy a very small area around here. The Assyrians, which are progenitors of what we call the Syrians today, were here. And then they attacked and took the Hebrew slave here in Assyria. And later on, they were attacked by the Babylonians, and they were taken to Babylon. Okay, so the angel was now, the Most High was telling Esdras that when they were taken to Babylon, they decided that they are going to leave the heathens and go to a place where they will worship God and keep their statutes, which they have not kept. If you remember, the Northern Kingdom never really kept the statutes. The statutes was being kept in Jerusalem, in the Southern Kingdom. All the kings of the Northern Kingdom, like Ahaz and all those, Ahab and all those, they never kept the statutes of the Most High. So the Hebrews in the Northern Kingdom that still wanted to keep the statutes of the Most High, actually left and came down here. If you read the book of Kings in the Bible, you realize that the prophet Elijah was actually from the northern kingdom, but he was mostly coming down to Jerusalem, to the kingdom of Judah, to keep the statutes and commands of the Lord. And there were other Hebrews as well that did the same thing. So they came to Babylon and they were taken from Babylon. Now the scriptures made some things clear. Is it that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land? And then he mentioned the name of the place. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Asareth. Now no one knows where Asareth is today, but it's not important where it's called. The scriptures mention that from when they left to where they were going, you have to walk for 1 year and a half. So the scripture gave us a distance. Okay, it's a walking distance that will take a year and a half and never live. On the average, a human can walk about 3 miles per hour maximum. Okay, look at this website here, which is ask.com. It says an average walking speed of 3 miles per hour, and everybody, man or woman, can walk 72 miles in 24 hours. Okay, so now let's make a little bit of assumption. If you are walking with women, children, and everything, you're not going to walk 3 miles per hour. If you have animals, your livestock, and the rest of them, you will be greatly delayed. So instead of walking like 3 miles per hour, you will walk, let's say, 1 mile per hour. And in 24 hours, you're not going to walk the whole day. You're going to sleep. You're going to settle down at some place, make a place for a bed for you to sleep, lay out your security so that somebody does not come and invade you while you're sleeping, appoint people who are going to watch over at certain hours of the night. So in a 24-hour period, you'll be working for, let's say, 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours a day. So on the average, and there are so many, you can look this up yourself. If you're a nomad, on the average, you walk on the average about 5 to 6 miles per day. Okay? Now, if you are walking 1.5 years, let's say if you walk 5.5 miles per day and you walk 1.5 years, you're going to walk like 3,000 miles. Okay, so it's very simple. Let's do the calculation. 364 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 5.5 miles per day. You're looking at about 3,000 miles. Roughly about 3,000 miles. So that's how long you are. That's the distance that the scripture mentioned. So let's see, where are we going to see from ancient Babylon? Are we going to see 3,000 miles away where they kept the statutes of the Most High, of God of Abraham, was kept? You know, when some people read this second Esdras and they say, okay, and they came to a place where no man has lived, they say, oh yeah, that's how the Native Americans migrated from the Promised Land all the way to here. This is not 3,000. This is not a day and a half journey. This completely discounts that theory, because to move from here all the way to here is not a year and a half journey. It's much, much longer than that. So let's look 3,000 miles away. Where is the scriptures kept? Let's measure distance from ancient Babylon to Igbo land. Brothers and sisters, do you see that? It's 3,000 miles. from this, the scriptures gave us a distance. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Asoreth. So the scripture was saying that it's going to take a year and a half to move from where they were to where they were going. And they were going through a country. They were going through land mostly. If you take a distance from here to here, from Babylon, when our ancestors, where our ancestors was taking slavery, to modern day Igbo land, it gives you 3,000 miles. That's a year and a half journey for a nomadic people. The scripture also said that the Most High showed signs to them. He calmed the seas for them to cross. So this is the Dead Sea, the Red Sea, I'm sorry. This is the Red Sea. And the Most High calmed it for them to cross. And they crossed. And they walked across to this very distance. That was the early 10th tribe. This is not the kingdom of Judah, but the northern tribe, the northern kingdom. This is how they migrated to current Igbo land. And the scripture mentioned it. Now, another way to find out this out is, if you say, okay, fine, this is not here, where else 3,000 miles away is the statutes kept? Because the Most High mentioned here that they took counsel among themselves that they will leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwells, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. So they were going away to keep their statutes. 3,000 miles away from ancient Babylon, where is that statute kept? Are you telling me that they came to Algeria and nobody's keeping statutes in Algeria, and they got to the place and then they forgot about keeping their statutes? No. Wherever they were going to, they were going there so that they can keep their statutes. And if you do draw the distance, Igbo land is the only place 3,000 miles away from Babylon that the statute is being kept. Are you telling me they're doing it in Congo? Who is keeping statutes, the biblical statutes in Congo? Or in Tanzania, or Kenya, or in the middle of the Indian Ocean, or I don't know, Thailand, China? Are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me? In Burma, is that where they're keeping the statutes? The only place 3,000 miles away where biblical statute is being kept is in Igbo land. So the scripture gives us a description of the distance that matched perfectly to where we currently are. Some people say that that they actually left and then crossed the waters to the Americas. That was how the Native Americans got here. Really? Let's see how that's possible. They left Babylon, got into the Strait of Oman, I don't know, passed through India, China, Nepal, then through the sea, and I don't know, all the way to are you serious? Are you seriously kidding me? All the way to the Americas. Are you kidding me? In 1.5 years. Who does that? So this is the only place that fits this biblical reading. A lot of people, okay, first they can't be going into Europe because you can't even walk through snow. The whole of Europe was snow anyway. They can't even be walking through that. Where, okay, let's say 3,000 miles away. Is it in Sweden? Is anybody keeping the statutes in Sweden? Or in Norway? Or in Ireland? Who's keeping the statutes there? So this, again, is it they walked through a country where no man dwelt? All these places were heavily inhabited. People were living here as at that time. So the scripture made it very clear of how our ancestors got here. And again, we've been able to show that this is how the northern kingdom got here first. In our other presentation, we explained that the southern kingdom later joined them. When Jerusalem was destroyed, the southern kingdom ran into Africa and were seen here in the Atlas Mountains that's here in Northwest Africa. And then later on, with the advent of Mohammedanism and Islam, they migrated down here. And through the river Niger, they migrated to Igbo land and joined their brothers and sisters right here. This is the migratory route from the promised land to Igbo land. Again, you have to ask yourself, where is this statute being kept? And we've shown you through our videos that the Igbos, the ancient Igbos, actually kept the statutes. So if you find a distance away from the promised land or from Babylon or from Assyria, and you ask yourself, where were they keeping the statutes? Where were people keeping the statutes? Distance of 1.5 year journey away. The only place that will bring you is Igbo land, here and there. So may the Most High guide us in our understanding. You can show this to anybody. Those who believe will want to believe. Those who don't want to believe will not believe. But you can show this to anybody and then let them come up with their proof. Again, we don't like defending our origin. We've made videos to show that. But this is mostly for our people who may have any kind of doubts. Let the Most High clear it up in their minds. May the name of the Most High be praised and blessed forever. Selah.